Our top focus this evening. Every time you Google something about how to keep your fitness in check, a couple of things will pop up for you. Climbing stairs instead of taking the elevator or escalator being one. Now, it is a great way to take more steps in your day and enhance your fitness level. While we know that taking the stairs instead of the elevator is a good choice, very few of us actually decide to make this the case in our daily lives. Not just because of our lifestyles, but also because of the houses that we live in. It's difficult for people staying in the high-rise societies of our metro cities to actually take the stairs. But what I'm going to tell you next will make you think whether you should take the elevators the next time or not. A tragic incident has been reported from the NCR region. Yes, a 73-year-old woman has lost her life due to a lift malfunction at a posh high-rise society in Noida. She died of a possible cardiac arrest on Thursday after the cable of a lift at the housing complex she lived snapped, now leading to a free fall between floors. The lift did not hit the ground but was caught between some of the middle floors of the building, and she was alone in the lift. Adding to the distress, it took the security personnel almost 20 minutes to locate the elderly woman. Can you imagine a 73-year-old going through it? Sadly, she did. Now, you and I invest all our life savings in buying these houses, especially in these posh societies, spending lakhs, crores for a home. And not just that, we also pay hefty maintenance charge every month. And is this what you get in return? Now, even before this incident came to light, the residents of the society were grappling with lift issues, not just for days, but for months now. Despite filing numerous complaints to the society representatives, they took no action. The SOS was ignored. Had these warnings been taken into consideration, a life could have been saved. Let's listen in to some citizens' voices first.
The lifts that we are traveling into up and down every day, more than 5 times, 10 times a day we are using these lifts. They do not have any fitness certificate in it. Can you believe that? I mean, people who live in the so-called high-rise societies and good societies, the only major concern is that we get maintenance and security. Neither the security is good, nor is the maintenance.
This is not the first time we have bring into the notice. We have, raised several times कि हमारी lifts maintained नहीं है properly. कभी भी हम फंस जाते हैं उस लिफ्ट के अंदर, कभी भी हम अटक जाते हैं. With the small babies, with elderly people, it is difficult. In fact, it is more difficult.
और मैं इसे sheer negligence की तरह देखता हूँ. अगर पहले इस पे ध्यान दिया जाता तो ऐसी घटना नहीं होती. इस तरह से किसी की जान चली जाए, this is very unfortunate. And इसके लिए कुछ कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए. जो भी इसके लिए responsible, it's not an accident, it's more than that. And we need some action on this from the authorities. And authorities need to be responsible on this. When the residents has raised the concern earlier, yet nothing has been done.
In fact, I'm asking some big questions to my colleagues and the guests tonight. Are lifts in posh societies turning into death traps? Do these posh societies value just money more than your lives? Is of course the question. I'm being joined in by my colleagues Neha as well as Shrishti. Neha from Bengaluru and Shrishti from Mumbai. Good evening to the both of you. Neha, let me come to you first. This is of course not the first time that we've unfortunately seen these lifts turn into death traps. If you could talk to us about how citizens also look at this.
Well, absolutely, Nivedhana. What we saw happening in Delhi is not a story that's limited to Delhi. In fact, all metros today are witness to the fact that we're having, several high-rise buildings coming up, more so for the fact that, there is space constraints in these booming cities today, precisely why buildings are choosing to go vertical. Well, look at most apartment complexes in Bengaluru city today as well. While several of the old apartment complexes do not complain as much because, they aren't really as high-rise, many of these new constructions coming up in the city today are in fact compromising on the safety standards, whether be it, with regard to the lift, be it with regard to the fire safety norms, or for that matter, all of the rules that have been set aside separately for high-rise buildings, many of which are being flouted today left, right and centre. It's quite unfortunate, the incident that happened in Delhi, where we saw that woman, in fact, succumbing to her injuries after the lift snapped. But hopefully, some lessons are learned from this, because this isn't something that's new, to Bengaluru as well. We're seeing that, on ground, given the fact that there are space constraints, more and more buildings are choosing to go high-rise merely because it's a more convenient option. But as far as safety norms are concerned, are checks and balances being put in place by the government today, by the regulating authorities, whether, it is, of course, the civic body of a city, or for that matter, if, of course, the builder needs to be held responsible, is that really being done? And more importantly, of course, even like in Delhi, why is it that, cases like these, which are really so shocking and alarming, aren't being taken seriously? Well, that's something, of course, that, we're going to continue to raise questions about, and hopefully, at least going forward, whether it's Delhi, whether it's Mumbai, whether it's Chennai, whether it's Bengaluru, hopefully, at least builders, do take this account a little more seriously, and hopefully enough is done to ensure incidents like these are minimized at the bare minimum.
Absolutely, Neha. Stay with me as let me go across to our colleague Shrishti as well. Shrishti, Neha, of course, did speak about the fact that this is not just one incident or one instance that we're talking about, how these lifts have turned into death traps on numerous occasions, in fact, going on to raise questions about builders or even, for the matter, associations that are part of these buildings. What are you picking up as far as reactions and also multiple instances that we've seen so far where, at the end of the day, it is being a very apparent reason that it seems like it's sheer negligence?
Well, definitely it's a sheer negligence, as we can see what happened in Noida. People kept complaining regarding the issue of elevator, and what happens next is that the elderly woman succumbs to injuries. So this is a sheer negligence from the authorities as well. Few days ago, a video went viral for same incident from Pune. A child was going down from certain floor to another floor, and as soon as he just left out, he left the elevator, the elevator wires were broken and it just came down heavily. So such kind of incidences happens regularly, and proper checks and balances are need to be done. Government gives you guidelines, builder sometimes follows it and sometimes it doesn't. But what boils down is that the citizens are left at the receiving end of this problem. The money which is involved in maintenance, the money which is involved in buying such high-rise flats in high-rise buildings is too much, is extravagant and exorbitant. Even if we talk about Mumbai, the place I'm standing is Dadar. If we talk about just a 1 BHK flat in this particular area, it would go around 1 crore. But are the safety measures taken properly? Are people's lives are that much safe or not is still the question. Is maintenance money which is taken by the society authorities, is that used properly or not is still the question, and we will continue to raise such questions, as my colleague Neha rightly pointed out.
Right, Shrishti, thank you as well as Neha for joining us on the broadcast and, of course, sharing with us your perspective. But like you stated, we're going to continue raising those questions as well. But we did take this across to our viewers as well to find out what they think about this. In fact, the numbers are flashing on your screen, so do call us. I understand right now I do have Captain Jagpal from Rohtak calling us. Captain Jagpal, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your perspective.
Firstly, hats off to the Mirror Now, only channel giving an opportunity to the citizens of the country to raise their points and worry about their fundamental rights. Now, coming to the problem, you see, once it is well known that these people are rotten, they will not maintain your security or these lifts or anything else. I retired in 19 and I have never visited a government office. Anything that we want to do, we contribute and get it done. For example, the lift, the security, there are very sensible retired senior persons. They can dish out the money, contribute and maintain it. Where is the requirement of going to the builders and cursing them and assuming that the Mirror Now will set their everything right? It is for each one of them to contribute personally and maintain their security and safety. You know, for example, having a camera, how much it costs? Have a CCTV camera on the lobby, in the lift, have other facilities, live like human beings, spend some money. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Captain Jagpal, for sharing with us your perspective as well. But to take that conversation forward, I have Advocate Atulay Nehra, resident of Paris Terra Residential Society, joining us. Atulya, thank you very much for taking the time out and speaking to us here on Mirror Now. As we speak about these incidents, of course, it is extremely tragic that we see how these elevators have turned into death traps as well. But we do understand this did take place in the Paris Terra Residential Society. Do help us understand, was the issue of how the lifts were malfunctioning taken forward to anybody in the Resident Welfare Association?
See, what has happened, to give you a very quick brief background, this Parastia Society is one of the largest societies in Sector 137, with over 4,000 houses and 16,000 people staying here, in close to 58 towers, out of which 28 towers are high-rise towers and 28 are low-rise towers. As you yourself mentioned, the lifts today are the lifeline of these high-rise. What has happened, on 1st of June, the present AOA board has taken over. And there have been multiple complaints against the workings of the AOA. Now, what has happened after multiple complaints have been given by the various residents of the society, and especially the high-rise towers, there was no maintenance of these lifts. You will be surprised to know right now, your own cameraman person is stuck in the lift in my tower, and he was not able to reach to me. That's why I have to join through the link. So this is the present situation where both of the lifts of 27 floor towers is not working at this moment when I speak with you. What transpired yesterday is one of the worst things that can ever happen. We have been hearing about lifts having a free fall every now and then. Day before yesterday, it was there in the newspaper that there was a lift accident in one of the societies, another society where few people got hurt. Yesterday, what happened was there was an absolute free fall of the lift. The wire snapped, and because of the pressure, it went back and stuck in the higher floor of the tower. The guards were having no clue of what has happened. And it was only after close to an hour when the lady was taken out from the lift. So this is what has happened yesterday. It is absolutely clear in the medical report. The death has happened due to shock and injuries on the back and leg. An FIR has already been registered against the board members, few board members of the AOA, the facility management company, and also the ThyssenKrupp, which is the lift management company. Incidentally, I got to know during the day that there was no AMC which was renewed by the present AOA board with the lift manufacturer. It was given to a third party, wherein the third party has not even maintained the lifts. So this is one of the incident that has happened. And sorry to say, but we are waiting for such more if immediate action is not taken. Administration is absolute silent on this, no support. In fact, you would have heard there was a lathi charge yesterday when the residents of the society were protesting and grieving for the lady. This is you can see that this on the screen. This is what happened yesterday. This is how administration is helping us. This is how law and order is being managed in the society.
Atulay, that would bring me to my next question as you speak about this as well. What justifies the amount of maintenance? Because this is, like you said, one of the largest residential societies that we see in Sector 137. Could you help us understand that? Because if you are saying multiple times also this has been addressed to the Welfare Association, but it was not paid attention to?
Absolutely. See, as I said, we are one of the biggest societies. There is a collection of approximately 1.8 crores of rupees as maintenance per month. Imagine the kind of money which is being collected, and this money can easily be invested into the society, which is not happening. As I said, it's been 2 months. The society has seen worst of the nightmares. We can, from 1st of June to 17th of June, there was no water in the high-rise towers. It was there in the newspapers. The security company which was there till 26th of July did not have a Pasara license, which is a mandate for providing security services. As soon as the AOA board got to know that a complaint has been filed against them before the learned magistrate court, they immediately changed the clothes of the security agency and so-called brought in a new security services. We have no idea as residents what is the contract. So the AOA board is basically hiding a lot of things and not providing the services which should be there, as basic as water, as basic as the cleaning services, and lift is maintenance is one of the issues.
I would also want to ask you this. What legal options do people living in these sort of societies have? If you could help us better understand that, because clearly
Yes.
the association is failing to address these problems.
To give you a very quick information on this, an injunction suit has already been filed, is pending adjudication before the learned civil judge senior division, which was filed almost a month back, but you can understand the processes. We have already summoned the AOA in the said case. However, injunction has not yet been granted against an absolute illegal resident manual. A resident manual has been circulated by the present AOA board, which tells you how to put clothes in the balcony, which tells you what to wear within the society. This is the kind of resident manual which has been circulated, with fines from as low as 100 rupees to 3,000 rupees, and those fines will be deducted from your prepaid meters. This is what we have the resident manual says, and we have gone for injunction suit before that. So first is, for all the illegal activities which the present AOA board is doing, the residents can go to civil court. We have already gone to the deputy registrar of societies, and you'll be surprised to know, I can show you as well. This is an order. This is an order dated 14th of June 2023, wherein the directions were given to the board to conduct a GBM, which is a mandatory activity, GBM within 1 week. But then comes the president of our society, who has the audacity to copy the district magistrate, copy the chief minister of the state, writing that it is my prerogative that I will not do the GBM. It is my prerogative whether to take any issue to the residents in GBM or not. Here is the email, nothing, and which is in black and white, clearly written. So that is the kind of response which we get from the AOA board. When we talk about legal actions, yesterday event transpired in what yesterday events happened. Post that, family member of the grieved family has filed a complaint. This is a matter of extreme carelessness and extreme mismanagement, which leads to culpable homicide. However, as you have yourself seen the lathi charge by the police, you can see the malefic intentions, you can see the connivance between the law and order as well as the AOA, wherein I can show you the FIR also. We have received the copy of the FIR today. The FIR against all these people, I would say all these murderers, have been registered under 304A, wherein there is only punishment of 2 years. Punishment of 2 years means that the bail will be granted by any magistrate. Any magistrate means the executive magistrate, which the authority has been given to the assistant commissioner of police. So the accused people are already roaming free.
Right.
And
Atulay, I'd
there
have
is
to
a
interject
family
you there.
who is
Stay with me.
grieving
I'm going to
right
come
now.
back to you in a couple of minutes.
Please.
I understand a caller of ours, Lakshman, has called in from Ghaziabad. Lakshman, good evening. Please go ahead and share with us your perspective.
Well, good evening. I think, we are missing what we pay for. So I'm living in a society. So pardon me, I won't name it because I have just listed. There is a, consistent issue of lift free falling and, lift breaks down in between. And sometimes, like 2 or 3 days, like I'm living on 26th floor, for 2-3 days, the lift stopped working. Well, as a, resident with a group of people, we have escalated this issue to, vice president of this society, but I think, no one cares. And what I understand, there is no lift act in this state as well, in UP. So I don't know, how serious people are or, why they take maintenance amount for us, since, it's like, we are being deceived. So I think that's a big issue in NCR. And that's the reason, what happened in Paris society, like the old woman died by a lift accident. My family is, bit feared, where we are living at.
Right, Lakshman. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast and giving us your perspective. But let me take that operative part back to Atulya. Atulya, what he said, which is very unfortunate, is that nobody cares. What it also goes on to show, like we also were talking on the show earlier, seems like bigger the property or the residential society, clearly it becomes more about money and lesser about valuing lives.
Absolutely, yes. What is happening, this is not just about the Paras Tira society. We are definitely a gold mine, being one of the biggest societies. However, this issue is of every single society which is there. What has happened, all the money which is collected from the residents, this ideally should be going towards the maintenance. But as per the law, the societies are governed by the Society Registration Act. We have the jurisdiction of Noida, Gautam Budh Nagar falls under the Merit Deputy Registrar, who quite recently have started sitting for 2 days in Gautam Budh Nagar, Greater Noida as well. However, any issue pertaining to the societies need to be taken to them. And as soon as we take any matter to the administration, that means we should be waiting for years and years to come, and this gives the vacuum to the corrupt boards across the welfare associations to do their own things, to do things which they want, and accordingly charge the residents. In our society, we are paying from as low as 3,000 to 4,000
Atulya, I'll have to interject you
rupees
there
per
again. I
flat.
understand another viewer of ours has called in. I'll take that point back to you. In fact, Cedric Matthew from Kolkata has called us. Good evening. Please go ahead and share with us your opinion. All right, we'll try connecting with more of our viewers to share with us their opinion as well. But let me come back to you. Atulya, you were, of course, talking about a large aspect that we have been discussing throughout is how these societies charge high maintenance as well. But before we wrap up, what would be your final thoughts about what can citizens do in such a scenario? Because multiple times, like we've been talking about it, there is sheer negligence. They're also paying a hefty amount as far as maintenance is concerned. So it is a service that needs to be provided.
See, since 2018, the residents of Uttar Pradesh have been waiting for an act which should be there for the lift and elevators. There are states like Maharashtra which already have such an act in place. However, even if we go through that act, it is more towards the civil wrong. for example, the Maharashtra Act has a penalty of around 55,000 rupees if something is amiss. What is required is, because of an incident like yesterday, an act need to be brought in place which gives the criminal responsibility, which held someone criminally responsible for this such kind of acts, and then only something can be these developers or the AOA bodies may have some fear of providing best of the services when it comes to the lifeline of the high rises.
Right. Atulay, I want to thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast and sharing with us your perspective and also pointing out the loopholes that are there. But for the moment, we leave the conversation at that. And we're also slipping in a short break here on the Urban Debate. Something special coming up on the other side, so stay with us. We're going to be right back.